Season 11 champions and the Ezreal if they want to get high priority for aiming.
Still going to lock in the Viego straight away. We know that the nerfs have pushed him a little bit more towards the jungle. We still haven't seen him a fair bit in the top lane. And there's the Ziggs that we talked about, right? We hit on Ziggs and Ezreal being the 280 carries that these players would be switching before. But WE going full-on aggressive. They want to keep up the aggressive laning style that they've been going with so far up against OMG. Going to bring out the Kalista and look for those all-in opportunities. Ziggs just going to try and play back, not really interact with that laning phase. And my God, Hysterics, we are going through these draft phases so quickly. Both teams being prepared.
Let's be honest, people like pick and ban, but they only like it because they want to see the spicy picks. So if we get there quicker, I ain't complaining. Seeing the Irelia, the Ziggs in one rotation, let's go for BLG and talk a little bit more about how this comes through because we don't have a support for either team. We don't have another solo laner as well, depending on where that Viego goes. Lyric, quick chance to run me through the next bans.
Yeah, so we're already seeing support bans come out. I wouldn't be surprised to see WE also go with some as well. Yep, the Trundle going to come through on that side because for BLG, I think they do want a bit of peel coming out in that bottom lane compared to WE, who you know they just went full-on engage. So going to take away the Nautilus. Wouldn't be too surprised if we also saw something like the Leona, maybe a Thresh taken away as well, some more aggressive options coming out from there. I want to see how BLG round up their comp, though, because we can see them opt into a 1-3-1 setup, right? Where you have Ziggs just kind of safely farming in mid lane. You're going to have something like an Irelia and now the Viego shown as your two side laners. Push, move first, try to use that tempo that we were talking about. But if not, and they do get into team fights, right, you do get into a very awkward scenario where Ziggs will typically be left to fend for himself without any peel, while the rest of your team is jumping in, leaving him alone.
True. Left on a bit of an island here for aiming. Something that he has played during the split, by the way, just to talk you through the Ziggs pick as well. Pick number 5 here throughout 2021 summer. So nothing that aiming's new to or fresh to anyway. I do like for WA just to highlight, you mentioned it in the roundup to this lyric. BiuBiu's cannon off the table straight away in case they need another solo lane.
I think it makes sense, right? It's such a niche pick that not too many LPL top laners have been playing. It was obviously buffed this patch in terms of the damage coming out from his Q, so even his laning phase being a little bit stronger this time around, and just removing any unknown variables. But we are going to see ppgod go towards that Leona, so still just going to opt in with the all-in. We already know aiming is just going to be a wave clear bot, and they are going to just play away from him. On the opposite side for WE, I want to see where they go in terms of support. The Rell, I think, could work, could make sense. They do lock it in, so just bringing in more engaged. Now we're going to see what Breathe wants to go up with in the top side. I wouldn't hate the Gwen pick, which they did hover before. Okay. She did get a slight nerf on her E on this patch, but I actually don't think it really impacts too much. Your laning is still very good overall. You still have phenomenal team fighting. You have double AD across different roles, and only having that Syndra in the mid lane I don't think is too bad, though. Sometimes Syndra does like to be the only AP option so the enemy team doesn't stack too much MR. She will still be doing a lot of damage. And WE are going to live by that philosophy and just taking the Jax.
Well, if they're going to play towards the top side, I mean, Breathe getting an early advantage, something like the Jax could really blow up the game. This is the first time that I believe Breathe has actually picked up the Jax in the regular season. Of course, it was Game 3 against OMG that Breathe brought it down. Second time here in playoffs. What's it going to run into? Feels like the Gnar here, Lyric. Give a potential engage for BLG.
We need to remember, though, that Gnar is a bit more situational engage, right? Gnar is a bit of a... can do everything decently all right, but doesn't over-excel in any one area. Should be able to do quite fine in the laning phase with the fact that he is playing ranged into melee. I'm a bit surprised that WE just opted into blind picking the Jax when they've already set up so well for this like deathball comp that wants to run into you, so much engage, so much damage. Opting with another split pusher I think feels a little bit off theme. Jax definitely being a bit better in team fights than certain other split pushers just from, you know, the counter strike or the resist you get from your ultimate. So we're gonna see how Breathe does up there. We're gonna see how these junglers do impact that top side. But the one thing that stands out to me when it comes to these matchups is especially for WE, the fact that they do have such a strong mid-jungle 2v2. If they can find advantages in that mid-jungle 2v2, how they're going to be able to influence the rest of the map.
After what we saw in the first series against OMG, I mean, Shanks was a highlight. So I like that WE are willing to play around that in the first game. Where for BLG here, Lyric, you already said that there's situational engage for the Gnar. There's a possibility there. For the rest of the composition for BLG, run me through that because there's scaling elements. There's good all-in elements there as well. How best to describe BLG in this game one?
I think for BLG, they're going to want to opt into 5v5s, right? You have these kind of like double duelist skirmishing mid-jungle. You have this hard engage support. You have the Gnar, which all of Gnar's power comes from when he is in Mega Form, right? Yep. So you're going to be the team wanting to set up for these 5v5s, especially when the enemy has taken something like the Jax. You do have a bit of range that you're able to play off of with the Ziggs and the Gnar, but you're going to have to be careful of the Scatter of the Weeks on the opposite side. And as we do go later, you are going to have two champions that are fine in side lane. Sure, Jax will outscale at some point, but Syndra will not be comfortable going up in a side lane against either one.
Well, we'll see, because BLG and WE, similar teams with different roundings. In round number 2, everything's on the line. Because if you didn't already see, with our lads in the sky, round 2 is the be-all, end-all. If you lose the series here, you will not make regionals. You will not have enough points. Round 3 is your lifeline. To beat RA as well, you get that opportunity. And see if you can make it into the top 4. The journey begins here for BLG, but for WE, a smashing against OMG, a 3-0 was very convincing, especially out of that mid laner who's replacing Mo. This time here on the Syndra, you already talked me through WE, but Elkin missing. I mean, Lyric also a very strong 2v2 lane with a lot of all-in.
And that's, that's what they want to go for, right? It's what WE's bot lane have loved to do. Even when they are playing weak side, they love looking for these aggressive trades. Halo Blades on the Kalista just completely standard. Going to be looking for these windows. Can try and find a strong level 1 trade, but it looks like, BLG's bot lane is going to leash, so not going to be able to, be cheesed by the side of WE at level 1. So we're going to see if they do end up making a bit of a mistake. But like we highlighted for WE, I'm really looking at mid-jungle. You have mixed damage. You have set up in the Scout of the Week. You have a ton of damage in your 2v2 as well. And then you could try and give some safety to your Jax up in the top side, as we're already seeing a little bit of trading coming out, right? And that's what Jax wants in this lane. Try to find the trade level 1 when you can get in range in melee form, come out strong. But BiuBiu is going to be able to do well on the way out, as we see here. I
like that he started hot, just gets away from the counter-strike and trades back as he normally does. Zeka in the mid lane doing the same here against Shanks, with an actually exceptional trade hitting level 2 first. Also want to point out that WeiWei's pathing Lyric will be heading to the top side as well, but BLG know exactly where he is. Some really good early warding, also towards that Raptor camp he's about to approach.
But yeah, and you'd expect it to come out from the side of BLG, right? Because you already know your bottom lane's going to get pushed in. They leashed. You're facing a very aggressive lane that can look for these trades at level 1. So WeiWei going to try and play up more towards top side, where BiuBiu can try and contest the wave.
Okay, I'm guilty, Lyric. I had to put this in. I
can't believe you kept it.
I felt really sorry for Munchables, because at the end of the day, Suning got knocked out in round 1. And then we saw that in the lower bracket, he was a bit of a Cream fan. They got knocked out by his other team at WE. And Top Esports last night was the cream of the cracker. So his 4th team for WE. Shout out to Munchables there for going through huge copium in LPL playoffs so far. And for WE, the early game, not as potent as we would like to see. Breathe already pushed out a lane. BiuBiu just shoving him back. And now that he's level 3, Lyric feels pretty comfortable.
Yeah, BiuBiu doing such a nice job in this lane. Breathe was the one trying to be aggressor early on, right? He was the one looking for a lot of those early Counter-Strike trades. But as we hit on, BiuBiu is going to be able to out-trade him on the way back, especially starting that hop, being able to dodge out on that trade. And this is going to open up what we saw, the topside scuttle for WeiWei, to where Beishang have to make his way towards the opposite side of the map, where his strong side is. So no shenanigans coming out early on. For both teams, you probably expect recalls to come out now. It doesn't look like any opportunities really open for junglers. Sure. I'd love to see what we hit on of once you come out from base, Beishang looking to interact with that mid lane matchup. Because one thing about Irelia is, to find advantages, you need to go all in. You need to commit to a trade. You need to put yourself in harm's way. So for BLG, they should be looking to get some vision around mid lane, I think, to allow Zeka to find these opportunities. And W should be the ones looking to disrupt that. So I'm going to be looking at supports at some point, seeing how they interact with the mid lane as well. With BLG's wave pushing in right now, maybe you can look for a bit of a reset once you get this one into turret.
Because I know during the regular split, we talked a lot about ppgod and how his roams came through as Beishang. He's angling for the bottom side, but note the ward coming through. We can talk about BLG in playoffs in a second. That ward spotting out Beishang means he can go no further, and BLG can position well. Lyric, just quickly, before we see any more trading, a bit of a highlight coming through here. We do see more trading anyway. BLG, first time in a while, never mind, who cares about talking? Beishang going in though, on top of aiming, he's going to stop this. Missing's too far forward. An easy first blood when you run into the enemy team.
Yeah, really nice satchel charge coming out from aiming. They did get his flash, but I actually think this hurts someone like Beishang a lot because WeiWei already got off his reset. WeiWei's already back on the map, having bought items. He's going to be able to start clearing his camps. And now WE not only do give over a kill, but your jungler is going to be behind in terms of tempo.
That's a flash counter-strike, solo kill territory! Game 1 of playoffs, Breeze says see ya!
And this was a matchup that was looking so good for BiuBiu earlier on. We were highlighting it, but Breathe able to come back to lane with this teleport, having a bit of an item advantage, right? Coming back with the corrupting potion, but still finding the window. Both teams going tit for tat on opposite sides of the map.
That solo kill going to be huge, Lyric, as you already said. And now, after the teleport, BiuBiu has to burn his own. I love it. Already a big start here when WE, their successes come from the top side. I know you were setting me up for mid. You were talking about how important it was. But this solo kill gives WE the condition that they've always played through.
And we see that Breed's able to get the counter-strike with the fact that he did use the flash. BiuBiu not able to respond with flash fast enough to be able to get out from there. He did see jungle on the opposite side of the map. He was doing well in the trade, so I can understand why he would want to push up and look to continuously punish Jax while he is trying to answer minions under his turret. But Breathe finding a really nice angle to punish.
And from here as well, Lyric, do you need to see WeiWei in the top side? What happens because of that kill? And what do you do to stem it if you're BLG?
I think it's really hard for WeiWei to actually find any sort of like gank or dive opportunity, right? Because BiuBiu is the one who is continuously pushing in on that side of the map. I think it would be quite hard to set up any dive opportunities unless you do have those heavy trades coming out. Feels like it's a bit too far. Do WE do anything for this? Just going to go for a bit of the steal with the Syndra, not able to find it, so BLG will be able to secure that one. But it seems like for BLG, they're going to keep playing around this bottom half of the map. You expect WeiWei to start clearing up towards top side at some point, right? Doesn't only have his Krugs up right now, but BLG doing a nice job with vision control right now. I feel like this has been one of the big highlights for them, is that they've been one of the better teams in terms of like getting a lot of these early wards down, making sure that they can spot out where the enemy jungler is, and make plays accordingly.
It was also what you wanted to see this game, right? Give vision for Zeka so he can make these aggressive trades, put himself in harm's way when he knows what's going on the bottom side of the map. As WeiWei on a ward right now. Missing is looking to contest for the last hit of the control ward. Beishang has hit level 6, so he has the Crescent Guard, but ppgod is full on the support as Beishang's ulti only hits the support of BLG, who flashes away, is running away, but that's a double flash, and you've given a kill over to Elk. WE strike fast, and BLG too deep for their own good.
And I think WE do just have like more damage coming out in these early 3v3s in lane, right? Ziggs not really being at a point right now where he has a ton of burst. We know later on that combo is going to come out really strong, where you have the ultimate from Ziggs coming with the Heartbreaker from WeiWei, and it sets up for a really easy reset. But as we saw right now, aiming throws out the ultimate, doesn't do all that much, and WE just able to full commit onto ppgod, who was in there by himself. As we get a bit of a replay in mid lane. He comes out. Ooh, nice. Forces the flash out from Shanks, but okay, doesn't go down in the end. Nice.
No kill, but Zeka did teleport back on in. A good return here from Shanks, as you said, but for Zeka, close to getting the Vanguard's edge. And now we're looking at Herald. I don't even get to set this up because we're fighting once again. WeiWei forced out by the level 1, the level 7 Jax. And for WE, they've committed the teleport. Shanks, Beishang, and Breathe are the 3-man squad, with Missing now joining. BLG just forced off the Herald for now, but looks like it might reset.
And one thing we need to remember is that WE are missing 2 ultimates compared to BLG, who are only missing 1. BiuBiu is still nowhere close to Mega Gnar, though. Feels like it could be massive. I'm keeping my eyes on Shanks to see if he can hit some kind of crucial scout of the week, set up a pick for WE. That's
a reset, though. Buys a bit of time, but for WE, they start it right back up, and that's not going to mean a thing. Elk caught out in the mid lane, the flawless duet. Zeka going in, he doesn't have the Vanguard's edge. Might not even need it. Solo kill flashes away the unleashed power for Shanks after getting Scout of the Week. That's not up and available either. Tries to get the Q. Zeka's already burnt his flash. He needs his brother with him. ppgod, save me. The Leona there without the solar flare, and Shanks wants yet another Scout of the Week. On top of the support who has the blast cone. He'll be crashed down with the Ferromancy, but they're deep in enemy territory. They get the kill, but WeiWei's now here. Does he want a full commit? He has the ulti himself. The Mega Inferno Bomb flashed away from the Heartbreaker on Missing. It'll get a reset. And for BLG, getting that one was a cheeky start by Zeka.
And what a crazy turn of events, right? I mean, we go all the way back to the Rift Herald where this started. And WE were able to get that one from the fact that own way.
Zeka.
Okay.
Stop it.
We're chilling, Hysterics. We're chilling, but it goes all the way back to where WE get the Herald because we saw Elk made his way up towards the mid lane. goes up a little bit too far in terms of how he's looking to clear the wave. Honestly, you see the members of WE coming through river. Zeka doing a nice job, I think, of like kind of not full committing over to the Herald to where he's able to easily turn on mid. And then we saw just a ton of shenanigans going on to where Shanks Unleashed Power eventually comes up and is able to find that return kill on ppgod.
It was a nice job. It's a solo kill and a kill that matters in this game, Lyric. We've really pushed the tempo, even though it's only 6 kills. A lot's changed in the past couple of minutes. I just want to update that we have a Syndra who's down 20 CS in the mid lane. A really good start at 100 CS for Zeka at the 10-minute mark. Importantly as well, WeiWei now has 2 kills. That's a 2-kill Viego, so even though it was the solo kill top lane, it was Elk punishing ppgod. BLG are actually ahead by about 1,000 gold at 10 minutes in.
And BLG doing a nice job so far, even in terms of his laning phases, right? We see BiuBiu up ahead in top side. We see Zeka having a nice advantage out in mid. We're going to see what WE can do with the Rift Herald to try to even this one out. Beishang now finally going for that play we talked about where, you know, even with clearing minions, we see right there, right? Zeka having to look for these Qs, having to put himself in harm's way, potentially opening himself up to trades, but doing a nice job. The second he clears that wave, he knows he doesn't see Missing or Beishang on the map, and they're potentially looking for this window mid with WE having the Rift.
Let's wait for that scout of the week. WeiWei waiting over the wall. The Unleashed Power used early. The hallowed path to aggro WE. And Beishang now not thinking about the Herald anymore. Is going to back away. BLG just to clear the way. 15 seconds till the Dragon here, Lyric. And BLG have the river for now.
Ooh, though, they might get collapsed on.
Maybe they don't have the
not
river.
in a great position.
Maybe they don't have the river. He still doesn't have ulti either. The Solar Flare not there. Where's the Mega Inferno Bomb from aiming? ppgod gets battered around. Good damage here from BLG's AD carry. But BLG, they lost their support yet again for the 3rd time.
And I can understand what BLG were looking for at first, right? They get the pushback in lane. They're starting to hover up from the fact that there is a bit of trading coming out in mid lane, but committing a bit too much. ppgod does end up getting pincered. Might open up this window onto Shanks, but Shanks probably fine, does also have flash available. And man, WeiWei was playing so far forward.
Yeah, really was aggressive, but new scout of the week wasn't up. Zeka threatening once again. Who knows what this guy's capable of. However, WE, because of that pick, they did get to pick up the Dragon. We moved to an Ocean Soul Rift for game number 1, folks. And WeiWei, after the back of that, thinking they've reset, is just going to start the red.
WeiWei, I think he should be able to get away with this, right? ppgod already being here, aiming not too far away as well. Zeka hovering over, so doing a nice job so far. Looks like WE going to look to make a play on the opposite side of the map as we do see Beishang heading up towards that top side. Some pinks coming out on top turret. Maybe going to look to trade pressure as both WeiWei and ppgod, I think they were spotted by tower, so WE potentially knowing where they are going to be able to get some more plates onto aiming. They do also have that satchel charge if they get this low enough. Yeah, this should just be gone for the side of BLG. But look on the opposite side of the map. Rift Herald comes out. They're going to get some gold on their breathe, and they're going to be able to hopefully equalize. But doesn't look like this turret's going to go down. We already have Zeka making his way up towards top.
And WeiWei still hovering around here, trying to get Missing and Elk back off the turret, but they should be able to defend this one while the jungler disappears. And BiuBiu clearing away the Herald, as you mentioned. 2.5 plates there left remaining. I guess the bonus is here, Lyric. Breathe gets the gold by himself and is still a pretty big Jax after he picked up the earlier kill.
And it's fine, right? You know you're going to come back into this matchup in terms of 1v1 and side lane later on in the game. BiuBiu doing a nice job of cementing his advantage now, especially with things like the plated steel caps, where even if Breathe does find these windows to get trades on him, it's not too big of a deal. He should be able to escape. And in terms of gold, they're even. Gold even for top laners, 300 ahead for the side of BLG when it looks at jungle. Looks like the big advantages are for mid and bot lane right now on the side of BLG and where they're going to be looking towards, right? Mythic's already coming out for both of them as compared to W, where you look, okay, sure, Beishang and Elk matching, but Shank still being decently far behind in terms of being able to complete that first mythic.
And for two teams that really loved Herald, I mean, I guess the first item point is really important. Because even the Jax just picks it up. Breathe was able to go back and get Divine Syndra. But I bring this up because the next Herald's spawning. Both these teams loves controlling it. And maybe this play influences it because Beishang has a Mega Gnar, but it's a 2 versus 1. And BiuBiu's able to get away. That'll just clear up the top wave for now.
Not able to find it, but they are at least going to be able to clear out this wave and walk into river safely, start making their way down towards mid, getting vision. And with them hovering from topside river, should also open up a window for Elk and Missing to play more aggressively on this wave and hopefully get that vision up towards topside that you're talking about. But it does seem like W are being cautious. They don't know where certain members of BLG are on the map right now. ppgod is showing on a ward, but still not exactly knowing where BiuBiu or Zeka could be.
Going to be talking a lot about vision this series, Lyric. feels like topic of conversation with WE and BLG, two teams that we did compare to each other. WE, you did say, like some of those more brutal skirmishes where BLG will just focus their time on farming, you know, building themselves up, rounding themselves to a compassionate five-man early game, excuse me. WE trying to do that right now against BiuBiu again, it feels.
And this is one of the things we highlighted about WE is actually still looking to play around. Breathe. TP comes in.
That's a big TP play. BiuBiu's able to nail them against the wall, but 4 versus 1. That ain't fair. As Beishang takes the last turret shot, nothing is a response. Well, not nothing, but a second Herald and a turret. Let me hold my words for BLG. They are trading.
Yep, nothing lost for the side of BLG other than BiuBiu. Potentially gonna lose this turret, but BiuBiu does have TP up, so not sure if Breathe will be able to get that one. But here we see 2 turrets for the side of BLG, potentially even gonna be able to get another charge on this inner mid lane turret. Aiming still being here and having the satchel as well.
Yeah, I mean, this will just instantly take it down, right? Satchel charge, 3 turrets for BiuBiu's life. Let me fully take it back. That's completely worth.
100%, and now we're going to start seeing recalls come out, start transitioning into the next phase of the game. Next Dragon is about to be up, though, right? 50 seconds on that one. Recalls have already come out for certain members of WE, so they are going to have some tempo if they want to make their way down towards that one. But the fact that they're already heading up towards the top half of the map makes me curious if WE will instead just opt into a trade. You do have this Jax, and we highlighted, hey, BLG do have a better 5v5 than you. They do have these 2 frontliners in terms of BiuBiu and ppgod. They have the easy combo setup of the Ziggs ultimate into the Heartbreaker from WeiWei to find those resets. And WE maybe just going to be a bit squeamish. There we go, Hysterics. That's the word in terms of looking for these 5v5s.
Yeah, we'll have to see because, as you mentioned, the next Dragon coming up in 10 seconds. And for now, WE are towards the top side of the map. BiuBiu has the shove bottom. And we'll be able to set up for the scuttle as well, aiming instant clearing these waves at this point in the game. And WeiWei's walking down. It feels like Lyric. WE just happy to give up this Dragon and look for the next.
And sadly, not even to be able to get anything on the opposite side, right? They used push up and top to start making their way down in mid, but with aiming having that control of mid wave, not going to be able to unlock anything. So WE just kind of accepting the slower pace of game that comes from not opting into these trades. BLG, though, I mean, 3k gold up, also sitting on an extra Dragon. I think they are feeling pretty good. And I don't feel like their comp necessarily slows down too much. Sure, they don't have like a ton of consistent DPS in the late game because they don't have an actual AD carry. If you have good AD damage, you do have DPS on your Irelia, even if it isn't as much as, you know, an AD carry, but you have burst damage coming out across the board. You have frontliners. So BLG, I think, are happy taking the game at this pace. They're probably just going to look for the Dragon stacking trade and wait for a moment to where WE will have to fight them. To where WE, I think you slow down the game, get some defensive vision, and just keep looking to get more gold on your Jax and wait till you really are pulling BLG across the map.
Because the Jax, well, you already talked about, is huge as ppgod sets up for Solver. WE caught out in rotation. Shanks thought it was his own jungle, but ppgod says no. And BLG with yet another pick this game. The gold keeps growing.
And I'm not quite sure what WE were looking for that instant, right? We saw Shanks is backing off. He knows that BLG have control of top half of the map. He can't go there. Starts to walk into his jungle when members of BLG did just leave from mid lane. Your AD carry and support are answering waves in mid, so not going to be able to follow up. And does just give a free pick over to the side of BLG. And these are the tempo plays that we were hitting on that BLG are so good at. Is, you know, pushing in lanes, moving first, setting up these man advantages to take deep vision and continuously take favorable fights. It's been the bread and butter of BLG all split long.
And they've just been taking away the jungle. Beishang has nothing here. Top side of the jungle cleared in an instant, and Zeka walks away. You start to see the CS difference there. WeiWei up about 20, Beishang level 10 versus WeiWei's level 11. This game one looking really pro BLG right now as we look at how Shanks was caught out alongside his jungler.
Yeah, walks through the tri-brush on the top side to start making his way down to support Beishang, but I mean, multiple members of BLG are already there, like we hit on. They just pushed out mid-wave. You don't see them on the map anymore. WE's finally not able to be there, and just ends up getting punished by the side of BLG. Now for BLG, slowly increasing this gold lead, right? 4k gold lead at 20 minutes, I think feels pretty nice.
Yep.
I think for BLG, your plan doesn't change too much. You're going to continuously just look to push, invade the enemy jungle, get this vision down, because at the end of the day, without WE really opting into fighting you, there isn't really too much you can take on the map, right? No Baron up just yet. We'll be up soon, and no Dragon in the cards.
Well, 2 minutes 30 to wait for that one as well. The Baron's coming up in 15 seconds. I want to point out that Not expecting any shenanigans around that, but I do like that teams are prioritizing warding, but it's WE again. Going deep, ppgod has the Solar Flare, but wasn't confident with WeiWei nowhere nearby. Zeka just picks up the scuttle. Crisis averted for now, but vision control firmly in the hand of BLG around this neutral lyric. BLG getting scuffed out a bit, and we did talk up BLG's vision throughout this whole game. It seems like the map is just turning red.
And one thing you can notice is if you pay attention to the map, right, is the fact that BLG do have two champions that feel comfortable sitting in side lanes. Because Shanks has continuously been answering waves at his inner turret topside and not able to walk up. That's one of the things that's helping BLG guarantee this pressure into walking into the enemy jungle. Also, you know, doesn't hurt that you do have a Ziggs who does just instantly clear waves going up against the Kalista. Elk does have his Rune on Hurricane now, so going to be able to answer a bit better, but still not going to be able to have any control in terms of that mid push. And for BLG, I like what they're doing. They're still just keeping the map really big, playing around their soul laners, continuously collapsing in and getting this down. For WE, you can try and overload the top side of the map around your Syndra, look for a pick onto Zeka, and try and find an opening through that lane. It could potentially open up mid lane for BLG to maybe get some damage on your inhibitor turret, but for a team like WE, who doesn't look like have too many options on the map, I feel like that's probably the only play available.
Well, they were just trying to make it then. Pigs were getting spammed down. Beishang and Missing were moving up. But again, the vision control so beneficial for BLG. Zeka sees them coming, backs away. The level 14 Irelia, who's at 237 CS, has just gone back and picked up Hysterics gauge. So Zeka not punished. BLG getting the tempo that they like to play with. 45 seconds till the Dragon Lyric as well, and I see item advantages. I still see that gold advantage. And I see a BLG who are once again choking out the enemy side of jungle.
And BLG get this Dragon 100% right. WE already noticing that as well, making their way up towards that top side, going to take this turret. Theoretically, they can start making their way down towards the Dragon after this if they want to in contest, but I think that would not work out at all. I like that they're going for this instead. Just push out another wave, start defaulting back to mid lane, because you look at the mini-map, and BLG just have such a strong chokehold of mid, which makes so hard for W to have any options. So when WE's only play is really overloading that side of the map with Shanks, who does give you pick potential to look for the all-in, and BLG aren't giving you that, for WE, they're really just at the whim of BLG. They are going to come and respond in bot lane, but still, you already get Breed chunks. Dragon is now up. BLG should be able to secure that one.
It's such a clean way to win League of Legends, right? Coming into this series, if anyone was expecting LPL blood or whatever, just remember that for BLG, we've been talking about how rounded this team are, how they look towards their late game, playing as a five-man core. We expect the team fights, we expect a BLG that aren't going to overestimate their opponent. Or let me take the BS out of that. Aren't going to make as many mistakes as you'd expect for a team that pushes it to the limit, like an IG, like a top esports. So we are looking at a very different style of team here that's just moved to Ocean Soul Lyric. Next Dragon's going to be an Ocean Dragon, and you have to fight that if you're WE.
And let's remember that BLG is a team that fell under a lot of our radars, because they have just looked so, I'd say, solid in a lot of areas. No like standout specialty into one niche that usually catches your eye in the LPL, something like an FPX or an EDG or an RNG. But they did take down RNG in their last series of the regular split, which really did catch everyone's attention. Sure, there's the whole meme that BLG is the kryptonite of RNG. They have consistently beaten them since 2019, but still an impressive feat for BLG to end on such a high note.
It'd be a shame that they're on the opposite side of the bracket. And WE now moving towards the mid lane, and just that talk of BLG as well. You know, against WE, like, and this was going to be the tale of top lane. I think it's good to reiterate that this series so far, it's only been a game, but this game hasn't been the tale of top lanes. We've been looking at more towards mid for BLG. I think it's been quiet, and it has been more so the jungle matchup on its own that has influenced the game.
I think it's really just been about how BLG have been managing their macro, right? They've been doing such a good job. They're always on the same page. They're always walking in together. Already going to chunk Shanks out as well.
Ooh, too deep.
That was so big.
Yeah, ppgod gets absolutely smashed. WeiWei now caught out. BLG, it was clean. Lyric, what did you say? Maybe a little bit too late as Missing gets thrown in, and that's 2 kills. Zeka trying to clean it up on top of Elk, but he's 1v4. BLG 1 by 1. The ants go marching in to die.
They were on the same page so well, Hysterics, but one scatter of the week turns it around for WE. And then, like you said, BLG just funnel in 1 by 1 to try to save the rest of their members. And man, this could be such a disappointing throw coming from BLG. WE gonna be able to secure themselves a Baron. No Infernal Bomb up for aiming to even try to steal it away. So WE just get this one.
Well, BLG, the clean team we talked about, the team we said were just controlling the game, have lost all semblance of it, and WE now have the exact same gold. Watch this again, because ppgod was deep, and BLG committed to the play.
And I mean, they have multiple members here, but like you said, ppgod going a bit too far in when aiming and WeiWei are both leaving. Opens up, great scout of the week from Shanks to set it up, but then WeiWei's too far, was trying to come in, back up ppgod, and then you just see, right, Zeka now coming in, finds the Vanguard's edge, tries to get on Elk, tries to find that kill, not able to take him down in the end, and just give over multiple kills to the side of WE. I think the initial planning of what BLG were doing was correct, right? They're just doing what they've been doing all along in terms of pushing in mid and top, walking into enemy jungle, getting the vision down. One difference WE made was we saw, I think, a faster rotation coming out from their bot in jungle, accepting the pressure that was coming in mid and being able to help answer that play. And like you said, I think BLG did look a bit disconnected in terms of how deep ppgod was going relative to the fact that both WeiWei and aiming had already started to back out from the enemy jungle.
And you know what? It might have been a quiet game for WE before, but now it's going to heat up. You have a Kalista that was able to pick up some resources there. Shanks got a triple kill. And after Shanks was the MVP of the OMG series in round 1, he set up for success here with a double needlessly large rod and a WE that feel empowered around the next dragon. Lyric, there's going to be a Rabadon's third for this Syndra, and I think it's coming pretty soon.
Shanks going to be incredibly strong, and even Breathe right now, I think on the 2-item spike, he has Blade of the Rune King plus Divine Sunderer. He's going to be doing quite well in terms of the 1v1 matchups in the side lanes. We're already seeing Beishang start to hover around as well and utilize this 2-lane setup. We are going to see Shanks answer the wave in top side as it did get stacked up, and gonna have to catch that one. Does have TP available though, so if any action breaks out, Shanks can be here. I like that WE are still using their Baron buff to control the bottom half of the map with the fact that Dragon is up in 45 seconds. And now when we're looking into Dragon setup, right, I think for BLG it becomes a bit more awkward to just walk into space that W controls. You could be walking straight into something like a Scout of the Week. It is going to be ppgod face checking these brushes, and BLG really coordinating their attempt to break into the river. Remember,
if ppgod gets hit, he's going to get nuked even more so than before. There's the teleport you talked about from Shanks. No Rabadon's death cap there, folks, but for WE, a 4-man unit, ppgod once again scattered to the weak. Missing sent backwards as well. The Ferromancer crashed down great, but Breathe on the angle of WeiWei. That's a level 16 Jax with the Blade of the Rune King in hand. WE still holding control as Shanks is literally an atomic bomb ready to be unleashed. WE start the Dragon, Lyric, and BLG, they've got a losing health bar on ppgod. They're just trying to poke them down as we see. BiuBiu once again, no Mega Gnar there as well. As Crescent Guard secures the Ocean Dragon. Solar Flare into the back line. That wasn't ppgod. That was something else now used. Flashed away from by Shanks. A bit of tension in the air, but WE got what they came for.
W were able to get on Dragon first. They do have the Kalista, so the Rend is available. They're going to be able to lock up that one. And BLG not going to be able to find the window to engage with the fact that you said the Mega Gnar burning out for BiuBiu, so they decide, hey, we're just going to go back. They saw that WE had a wave pushing into their inner turret bot, so not going to end up giving over any gold and picking up those ones, say, okay, you know, we'll back, we'll come to fight another day. Importantly, they did get Shanks' flash. So that's something we're going to be looking for BLG to punish when they do have all of their key members' flashes up. Actually, they have every flash up, Hysterics.
They do.
You've been saying all game, on BLG, everyone's a key member.
That's right. I mean, you're setting me up for success there when you talked about how BLG were winning this game through their control. And obviously that's changed quite a bit, but for BLG, again, let's harness on the point that you talked about where there's still good scaling there, right? We've mentioned Zeka, we've mentioned aiming. And the point that you brought up in Champions League, that was for someone like Shanks with the only AP damage source, remember the same is there for aiming on BLG, so he'll be able to harness that 3-item Ziggs quite well, especially when we start talking about the Baron, the Dragon that leads to Soul once again for BLG, to see if WE want to fight it.
It's really interesting, right? Because both compositions, I think, are definitely way more heavily indexed into burst, being able to just catch a member out when there is no vision, just being take them out right away between, you know, Syndra, Zinzan, Kalista, or on the opposite side, we've seen Viego, Irelia, and aiming. and both sides just going to play on this. BLG right now trying to bait this one out, but WE did have that ward down, not going to walk in too aggressively. And this is what WE needs to do if they want to contest space and contest vision. They need to just say, hey, we're going to sack a wave in the side lane and look to walk in together. And that's what they're doing right now. That was a close call for ppgod, is able to get away, but this is going to open up for WE to get this vision because Breathe pushed out in bot, recalled, and is now going to be the one to catch top wave, which allowed for WE to make this play without losing anything on the map.
But Zeka not really giving them much space. He has a Guardian Angel. He's feeling confident, but remember, where there is a third item on BLG's mid laner, there exists one for WE. Shanks has the Rabadon's Death Cap. We have gone from Atomic Bomb to, I don't know what's bigger, and I don't really want to think about it. They're kind of awful things. But for WE Lyric, I mean, now on the defensive path, we're ping-ponging waves, just waiting for this next objective in 30 seconds.
Still Breathe having control of that top side, pushing in extremely deep. BLG already going to make their way up there. I think Breathe should be fine, should be in a position where he can just make his way out safely. He is. BLG not just going to commit to trying to choke him out. I think he would have been fine regardless, so forcing BLG to answer this wave, buying more time, getting more gold into this Jax. And I don't necessarily think of WE or BLG as teams that aggressively start Baron at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
They aren't an RNG, they aren't a top esports, they aren't an FPX. I think they will play more around this like smooth sailing win condition of like, okay, we're just going to continuously wait for these dragons to come up. They're both going to look on their timers and their windows for potential plays to find picks, as we've seen BLG doing all game in terms of walking into enemy jungle, and as we saw WE do in terms of overloading mid in that last play. You know, ppgod did recall right before that happened.
And it looks so easy for WE, didn't it? I mean, there's Rell, there's Syndra, Jax as well. The Xin Zhao, great for that. So just like WE easily able to utilize their tools. Where, I don't know, I think ppgod was spotted going into this, missing on the side. Shank's not nearby, Elk's still mid. This is ambitious from WE and spotted out by BLG. So Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't hit Shanks, and that feels like the target you need to hit.
No, not going to be able to take him down. And one thing we highlighted was how important it was of taking advantage of the window where Shanks does not have flash.
Yep.
Shanks' flash is about to be up, so you completely missed out on an opportunity to potentially, you know, have a Mega Gnar flash onto the backline or have Leona flash on top of him, stun him down, and burst.
That's a couple of ultis just out. The Solar Flare comes through. Beishang holds onto his own. Maybe it was only the one. It was BLG getting pushed a little bit backwards here. ppgod's ultimate now on about a cooldown for 30-40 seconds, folks, if I can get my words out. But it's because Baron's now live. Dragon's up as well. Things getting even more tense. And the poke's starting to fly across the rift. Zeka, there's a flash on the Shanks in the backline. The Irelia with GA playing aggressive, but the Scout of the Week's the 3-man. The Rell Magnet Storm as well. It's a bit of a mosh pit here, even in COVID times. That's dangerous. BLG survived for the time being, but aiming on the backline, having free space. The satchel charge gives none of it, though. Elk goes down in the end. Lyric, you're a color caster. Analyze that one.
Hysterics, I have no idea what happened. So much went on our screen. Zeka making the aggressive play, but like you said, Shakes with an incredibly aggressive scat of the week. I think a mosh pit was a perfect analogy because members going back and forth. We saw the value of Rell in that Magnet Storm when the enemy has multiple melee champions that you can lock down, drag around, and set up for your damage dealers. And WE now going to be the team with control of this game. Let's see what happens because Zeka gets tired of waiting. Flash into the ultimate. Lucky for Shanks, his flash should come up. Scat of the week right before he does go golden. And missing, able to lock so many people down, still able to buy so much space. But even here, we see BLG are the team with numbers advantage, but Elk just able to kite around the fight so well. Beishang getting in the thick of things, and just look at him. Look at the Kalista. No one able to lock him down, and by the time he does, the rest of the team able to do work.
That was sick from Elk. A quadra kill as well in the height of it. Able to go back and pick up a straight GA, and WE, not only do they pick up the Baron with 3 members left remaining, they get the Dragon, they move to Soul Point, and the first one there from BLG, 1 by 1, it feels like the game was given back to WE an even point. But WE win the fight out there, Lyric, and now it's WE in the making.
BLG were what, 4 or 5k gold up in 20 minutes? They were in prime control of this game. One mistake opened it up for W to close that gold lead in one play, and then we've seen now WE are a team who thrive in these scrappy situations in terms of how that one went. Maybe Zeka getting a little bit antsy, as you highlighted. A few ultimates were already thrown out by BLG before that play had already started on trying to lock Shanks down. They pretty much all whiffed, and then BLG pulled the trigger. Still, though, they had a 5v4. They weren't able to pull it through. No one able to lock down the Kalista. And I think that goes down to the fact that a lot of the CC tools were down. They were used already.
And Elk now level 17 as well. Baron was already picked up. WE have a 3k gold lead. Make it 4 just about at 34 minutes into the game. Getting aggressive, utilizing the Jackson to side lane. I just want to point out that Breathe is 4 item strongs. Level 18. So Mega Death Rocket, sorry. Mega Inferno Bomb. Close enough from aiming. Doesn't do enough onto Elk. And WE just controlling the top side and going up towards the Jax.
Yeah, I like what W are doing right now, playing out their 2 lanes. They actually completely give up mid wave. They just pushed into their inhibitor turret. They just want to play around Breed's pressure right now, potentially look for some picks, but BLG not going to fall for it. And now WE just losing gold on the map, as you can see right now mid. That wave completely gone. A bot wave about to hit their turret as well. And with the fact that BLG do have that wave control, it means WE have to back off.
Yeah, as they do. 3 members return back to base. Elk stays in the top lane. And Lyric, we might just be waiting for the next dragon. 3 minutes until Soul comes up. You're going to have to walk me through the setups here because side lanes are firmly in this Jax's hand right now for Breathe. It feels like this Jax, anyone comes up against him is going to be pretty much sorely missing out. While for BLG, the Irelia had a really good early game at 360 CS, but Zeka hasn't had the same impact that WE are having now.
Yeah, and I think for BLG, we can see what we just saw, which is, you know, you do still have 2 champions who can push out waves relatively well on their windows, force W to try to be the team that responds, because the Jax does beat either one of BLG soul laners, but either BLG soul laners beat the Syndra, right? So both of them will have 1 lane of prio. We see right now Shanks having to go and answer, and BLG's core is still going to be the ones in control of mid-wave when it is, you know, a 3v3 or a 4v4 from the fact that they do have that Ziggs. So they can open up windows where they do have that numbers advantage that we hit on, where they can sit up for those picks when Shanks is off answering on the opposite side of the map. Does have teleport available though now, so will be a very small window where they can potentially find a pick. I still don't feel like BLG just outright lose team fights.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see some word come out from either that Solar Flare or the Gnar ultimate to be able to lock down these key targets and set up for WeiWei, Zeka, and Amy.
And I feel like we can even talk about them in addition, right? You know, it is the Solar Flare, it is the Gnar ulti. With something like a Vanguard's Edge, I mean, it all piles on top, and for BLG, I'd love to see it all come together. Because you already talked about the 5v5s, and I love that you're still skeptical about them, despite WE having a 4k gold lead, despite how the fights have been going for WE. The potential's there for BLG, and around this next Dragon Lyric, a minute 30. That's Ocean Soul. That's game-breaking. I know you've been talking to me about Soul and its meaning in League of Legends right now, but it is still a huge buff.
I mean, I feel like people brought that too far, right? Me saying Soul not being the end-all be-all in terms of, like, champion scaling. Soul is still extremely strong, incredible. Yeah. It went too far the other way. It went too far the other way, but no. Definitely, if either team can secure this one, it's going to be a massive boon to them. We see Breathe already is pushing topside, can start making his way around for a flank. Does look like for now he's just going to steal Raptors.
Aiming's court has to flash away Beishang with a follow-up, but WE start with an engage. That's a 2-man Fates call. The Magnet Storm from missing as well. In a choke, Aiming's done some damage, but BLG are the ones who have to be backing away. The Gnar ulti from BiuBiu, but Elk once again darting around, dodges away from WeiWei, goes into GA, and that buys him more time. BiuBiu jumped on as well, and Elk lives once more. Over to Aiming, this AD carry, launching spears, and a small man with bombs.
And WE are just so decisive. I don't even think that was a call to look for that fight right there. Beishang saw the angle. He went for it straight onto Aiming. The fight was so back and forth, but like you highlighted, Elk able to skirt and dance around the fight, and it's not over. WE gonna look to open up the map. 2 turrets, probably even gonna get an inhibitor off this. That timers are pretty long.
They're huge. They're absolutely massive. It's ppgod up next, but inhibitor broken open. If Zeka dies, it could be even more. With 1 inhibitor, now Breathe tanks up the turret all the way for Shanks. Almost all of them anyway, and ppgod takes a spear on the way out. That's Shanks damage, guys, if you haven't been paying attention. And now Lyric with a Kalista. That's your free smite. And that dragon belongs to WE for what looks to be the seal on game 1.
Yeah, Ocean Soul gonna be pretty nice for them. We have seen BLG look for these all-ins, but still you're up against the Ziggs. You're gonna be feeling that poke. But like I said, during this time, Breathe was farming chickens. Beishang's like, screw it, I see the window, go straight onto aiming, the flash comes out, and then the control coming out from Missing's Rell with them locked into this steep space. Elk doing a nice job of skirting around, does have the Immortal Shield though, so has the sustain to be able to survive through this. Not able to lock him down. WeiWei tries to get onto the back line, is able to lock him down, but I feel like the GA was so critical here, and keep your eyes on Elk.
Oh, we're fighting again. Breeze in the middle with a counter strike. Never mind that scout of the week. Beautiful to Magnet Storm follow up as well. BiuBiu's not even into Mega Gnar, and he's beaten down with a stick. WE almost called them EDG because I'm like, they're smacking him so cleanly like a top tier team. Left alive, Zeka now revives, and it's all over, folks. Game 1 belongs to WE.
It's great to see WE to come back through some really scrappy team fighting, some great plays coming out from Elk, great ultimates from Missing, and the rest of the map all around to take this game.
WE channeled through the top side. It was a story of cleanliness from BLG, but a couple of pickoffs here. WE take full advantage, and when this round matters so much, it's WE in game 1 that come out of the gates with a massive punch in the face.
And that game was everything that I think really encapsulates this series, right? Because I guess I don't know about you viewers at home, but looking at this one on paper, honestly, I had no idea who would win. Yep. I think I predicted 3-1 for WE, but still, I think these teams are very close in a lot of different areas. They have a lot of different strengths and weaknesses, but they still have a lot of same points of the map that they look to, like top lane that we hit on. But still, we saw good things from BLG in the early game. We saw the control, we saw their use of tempo, how well they were controlling vision, but still, they gave WE one moment, one scatter of the week to set everything up, and then WE were always in control. And that decisiveness, man, that was absolutely amazing to see. Every time they saw a window, they would engage. They would never give BLG any time for the setup, any time for something like Mega Gnar to be ready, Mega Gnar to be there, ppgod to find the perfect solar flare. It didn't matter because WE just pulled the trigger. I
just love the word decisiveness coming through. Definitely something we got to check on in when we go through these next couple of games, because you're right, the decisiveness of WE, beautiful, and importantly enough as well, I mean, Shank's having another great performance. Elk on this Kalista, someone who's been talked about many, many times through regular splits, and, you know, Elk coming through in a year ago, Lyric, as the Rookie of the Year. Elk is someone who's developed in the league, but still can have some horrible moments. This was not one of them. This was a beautiful game off his Kalista, and WE coming together as a unit was just so pristine after those couple of plays. From here, I mean, the world's the oyster, right? This is a great piece of momentum. This is a good game 1 for WE to launch into the series with.
And even just the way they used their crowd controls was really nice to see, right? Because you have so much, almost every scout of the weekend in a team fight felt like it hit multiple members. The magnet storms coming out from Missing were so big. And when you look at BLG's composition, right, you have 3 members that are going to full-on commit to the fight. You count 4 if Gnar is in mega form. It just sets up so well for a lot of these big AoE or big change CCs to lock down the crucial members of BLG. And then bam, it is just so easy for someone like Elk to do his job.
It really is. I mean, darting around the fights beautifully. That game number 1 didn't really end as I expected it to. Again, we just have to reiterate a 4K gold lead just about for BLG in the first 15 minutes of the game. It was clean, controlled League of Legends. It was minimizing risk, and BLG got punished for it hard with one moment from WE. That's only game 1, folks. Hopefully this goes a little bit longer as well in terms of series. It's only game 1 though. Who knows how we transition from here after the break.